What's going on, everyone? It's Travis with Fenimore Outdoor Adventures here. The purpose of this video is to go over some of the mistakes, stuff I've learned throughout the process of learning how to backpack and over this last year. So we're going to go over 5 things that I feel I've learned the most over this last year of backpacking. Our first trip backpacking in October of 2020. You know, I learned a lot through YouTube videos and stuff, but I couldn't afford a lot of the expensive stuff to go. My pack weight was about 55 pounds on our first trip. Now we were battling our pack weight plus the altitude in Colorado, which didn't help at all. So one thing I've learned is that I don't want my pack to be 55 pounds. Over the last year, I've bought and stuff, saved up, bought ultralight gear to be able to lighten my pack down. Right now, I don't know what my base weight was in Colorado on my first trip. My overall pack was 55 pounds. On that trip to Colorado, we brought way too much stuff, but we brought these campfire candle things. That was 6 pounds a piece, me and my best friend, and we didn't need them, and we've never brought one since. But I think the thing that I learned from that is to don't overpack. Bring stuff that you feel you need, and if you don't use it on that trip, don't bring it on the next trip. I've eliminated some stuff from our very first trip that I've not taken that I thought I needed, and over the last year I've groomed down my pack to be more what I want. I'm still in the process of buying lighter gear, which I will do a gear video at a later date. So yeah, that would be my number 1, is to don't overpack and save some pounds where you need it. So my number 2 advice would be to stretch. Another thing that I've found is that stretching really helps on the trail. Now, I feel I'm not a very good stretcher, so I've learned some stretches and what I need to do to open up my hips and make my hips more flexible, my shoulders to loosen them up, so when you're carrying a 30-40 pound pack, you're not going to be too sore. You're still going to be sore, but the stretching will help. So with stretching, we usually stretch before we hit the trail, and then we'll stretch again at lunch to loosen everything up again and not have your muscles tighten, because they're going to be fatigued after miles of hiking. And then we'll stretch at camp as well. Now, we're not always good at stretching, but over the last year I've learned that we need to stretch more than we do. So yeah, so I would feel stretching is definitely a vital key that I've learned to do over the last year. Okay, number 3. So number 3 I wanted to talk about is food. So now a lot of backpackers use the dry freeze dehydrated foods from Peak Refuel, Mountain House, and those are great. They can get pretty pricey, like between $8 and $12, but you don't get a lot of food with it, and it's really salty. So one thing I've learned is you can buy pretty much dried food from this grocery store, like Knorr rice or mac and cheese pasta bowls, which I've taken. And you get chicken creation, tuna creations packets, the packaged tuna and chicken to get your protein, and then you mix those all together to make a really good meal. They're lighter in weight usually, and they're fresher. I'd say that knowing alternatives to food has really helped in keeping our backpacking dinners and lunches creative, and I feel that's a great use. So the 4th thing I would like to talk about is I feel pretty important. So when we first started out backpacking, we would just get on the trail and go as quickly as we could. We tried to bust out as many miles as we could, and then by the time we got halfway throughout the day, we'd be exhausted, and we still have a few more miles to get to camp. And you know, that's good, but if you're not going too many miles, but if you're doing 20 miles a day, 10, 20 miles a day, it can get taxing by the time you get into the like day 2 or day 3. When you're starting out on the trail, I would recommend taking it slow. Now, you don't have to go super slow, but take your time. Don't waste a lot of energy because you have a lot of hiking to do throughout the day. Now, maybe take lunch, then pick up the pace after lunch when you have the carbs to fuel the rest of the way. Don't get burnt out, halfway through the first day when you have, I don't know, maybe 2-3 days of backpacking to do. You want to take it slow to start. Okay, so the fifth and final thing I'm going to talk about today is always make sure to check your batteries, and your flashlights, and your camera, if you're bringing a camera. Make sure you check your GoPro batteries. On my last trip to the Mogollon Rim, I did the Cabin Loop Trail, and I failed to check my headlamp battery, and it died the first night I was there. And I was there for 2 nights, 3 days. Thankfully, I brought an extra flashlight with me, so I had a backup. But one of the mistakes I've made is I didn't check the battery, and I just assumed it was good, and it was not. From then on out, I'm checking all my batteries, whether it be the GoPro batteries, making sure they're all charged, my camera battery for my big camera, my Nikon camera, which I'm filming on right now. So the fifth and final thing would be to check all the batteries. So we've reached the end of this video. These are the 5 things I feel that I've learned throughout the last year of backpacking. Please like and subscribe to my channel for my trip videos, and I'm going to start doing some more of these type of videos as well. So see you on the next adventure, and enjoy!